I'm Nick, and this is the Ryzen 7 9850 X3D. It's AMD's answer to their own CPU, the Ryzen 7 9800 X3D. AMD is doing AMD things with their CPUs once again. They're only trying to compete with themselves.
Listen, I'm from the future.
How dare you point at me?
They're doing the bare minimum here, guys. They don't really have any competition right now from Intel, so they don't have to do anything at all. But I guess you're wondering, what's different with the Ryzen 7 9850 X3D as compared to the 9800 X3D? Well, not a lot. With the 9800 X3D, the boost clock is around about 5.2 GHz, and the 9850 X3D's boost clock is around about 5.6 GHz. That's it, other than the price, of course. As for pricing, the Ryzen 7 9850 X3D is going to be going for around about $499 US when it launches, which is around about $20 more, or about 5% more money than the 9800 X3D at launch. Spec-wise, the 9850 X3D is an 8-core, 1632 CPU with a base clock of around about 4.7 GHz and a should boost to around about 5.6 GHz. The Ryzen 7 9850 X3D has a total of 104 megs of cache, the TDP of around about 120 watts. If this is starting to sound familiar, well, you're not wrong. Whenever I test new CPUs, I retest every relevant CPU with the same set of hardware. For these tests, I used a 32 gig kit of G.Skill Triton Z5 Neo at 6000 megatransfers on the MSI MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi. All the testing I do here is on an open air system. If you're interested in knowing more, I've put links to everything that I use for testing down below in the description. So, how is the performance? I ran a 1 hour Cinebench stress test to see what the deal with power consumption was with the 9850 X3D, and over that hour I saw it pulling around about 123 watts across all cores and 152 watts for the entire package. That's about 1 more watt across all cores as compared to the 9800 X3D, and about 6 watts more package power over the 9800 X3D. Which leads us into Cinebench 2024 testing. In Cinebench 2024 multi-core, we see the 9850 X3D scoring 1,365 points. That makes it about 5% faster than the 9800 X3D. Typically, we see the X3D chips not being as performant as other chips across the board. However, for single core performance, the 9850 X3D scores 142 points, which is about 7% faster than the 9800 X3D. Alright, this is one of my favorite benchmarks that we've been doing since the beginning of the channel. This is a real-world speed test. This is the timed Linux kernel compile test. In this test, we compile the Linux 6.15 kernel from source using the Phoronix test suite. The 9850 X3D compiles the kernel in around about 69 seconds on average, which is about 5% faster than the 9800 X3D. You can start to see a bit of a pattern forming here. The next thing you need to know is what 3D performance looks like without any restrictions using a GeForce RTX 5090. The card that I'm using here is the MSI Supreme SoC edition. I did all of the tests with Precision Boost Overdrive both enabled and disabled, and I didn't see a gain or loss with it on or off with any tests, so I just left it on. I decided to run all of these tests with their lowest settings at 1080p and 1440p. Here's why, right? Bear with me. Sometimes we need to explain what we do here. With GPUs like the RTX 5090, we're quite CPU bound at 1080p and at 1440p, and I was curious to see what that would look like when you're completely unbridled. We're not testing the GPU as it's purely about the CPU here. These settings are pretty unrealistic for real-world gaming, but the purpose is not for gaming. It's about not having any restrictions on the CPU and letting it fly. That's just how you do it. Let's kick it off with Counter-Strike 2. There's a really good repeatable benchmark in the Steam Workshop that we've been using for testing for many years. I'll link that below if you want to give it a try. At 1080p lowest, it's obvious that the 9850 X3D is going to be the best choice here. It's not really a debate because we know how potent the 9800 X3D was. The jump in performance is, wait for it, 5% over the 9800 X3D. Wow, what a surprise. At 1440p, the difference between the 9800 X3D and the 9850 X3D is again, wait for it, 5%. For 1% lows, the 9850 X3D is about 4 to 5% faster on average as compared to the 9800 X3D as well. Moving on to Shadow of the Tomb Raider at the lowest of the low settings at 1080p. This is an older test, but we've tested this so much that I know what to expect with it. At 1080p on average, the 9850 X3D is about 1% faster than the 9800 X3D. That difference is negligible, and you can almost say that those results are exactly the same. The reason for that is because the 1% lows are so close that it's not even really measurable. Jumping over to 1440p, we're seeing the exact same thing with the 9850 X3D. The performance difference is basically immeasurable. It's so close that it's easily inside a margin of error. So there you go. Moving on to Cyberpunk 2077 at 1080p. This is with it at the lower settings. You know how we do here. The 9850 X3D is, again, 1% faster. And for 1% lows, it's exactly the same story again. So nothing too surprising here. At 1440p, the difference between the 9850 X3D and the 9800 X3D is about 2%. That's more than 1%. That's something, right? Moving on to Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered at 1080p, we're seeing exactly the same pattern forming. It's not even measurable between these two chips at all. So yeah, you can see the numbers here. It is what it is. At 1440p, nothing much different. It's the same story again. It's more of the same, with the differences being so tiny that all of these results are within a margin of error between the 9850 X3D and the 9800 X3D. Finally, onto a game that I've personally sunk hundreds of hours into, Call of Duty Black Ops 7.
I'm trying to get to the roof.
I'm depressing.
Be a bit cheeky.
I have trained for this.
No way.
Yeah, I know that like people don't really play this game, but I don't care. At 1080p, we're seeing the 9850 X3D be around about 6% faster than the 9800 X3D on average. As for 1% lows, the difference again is negligible. At 1440p, we see the 9850 X3D leap ahead in performance, being around 9% faster on average as compared to the 9800 X3D. For 1% lows, there are no differences here. Finally, just to round out all of these results so you can get a bit of a better idea of what the pattern is with a 5-game average comparing everything that was shown previously. At 1080p, the Ryzen 7 9850 X3D is around about 3% faster than the 9800 X3D on average. It's not amazing, but 3% is more than no percent, right? As for 1440p, the uplift between the 9850 X3D and the 9800 X3D is closer to about 4% on average. That's the bottom line here. The uplifts are so minimal, but that means that the AMD Ryzen 7 9850 X3D is now the fastest CPU for gaming, but only by a few percent. AMD has done it again, I suppose. I mean, what more do I have to say about it? It takes the crown. I don't know, let's be real here. Who is this CPU actually for? Well, hear me out. If you're sitting on a Ryzen 7 9800 X3D already, put your wallet away. Seriously, the 9800 X3D launched at $479 US. The 9850 X3D comes in at $499. That's about $20 more, but the kicker is, wait for it, wait for this, right? For approximately 4% more money, you're getting 3 to 4% more performance on average. So for $20, you're getting about $18 more performance. It's a weird way of doing it, guys. I know. Now, if you already have a 9800 X3D, tearing your system apart and spending money you don't really need to, just don't spend money on it right now because it's a single-digit gain and it's just really not worth the hassle. It's just not a smart move. If you really, really hate your money, buy this CPU. That's fine. However, if you're rocking a 7800 X3D and you want a little bit of extra juice, or if you're coming from a previous generation like an AM4 CPU or an older generation Intel CPU and you're looking at an upgrade, this is going to be a huge jump in performance. And that's where this chip makes sense. Even though right now, at the time of filming this video, it's an abysmal time to build a new PC. Don't build a PC right now, guys. It's just insane. Not only that, if you're looking at specific titles like Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which, let's be honest, you're not. You're just not. No one's playing the game except me because I'm an idiot.
Oh, wow.
You're seeing about a 9% jump at 1440p. I'm literally the only person who plays this game. Unless you're a sweaty FPS gamer and you need all of the extra performance and you need that uplift between the 9850 X3D and the 9800 X3D, it's basically invisible here. Like, don't do it. It's just not tangible and you're not going to notice a difference at all. Please don't waste your money on this. With saying all of that, let's be real for a second. Although the 9850 X3D, if I'm being honest, it's a ridiculously fast CPU. AMD is doing the bare minimum here. They don't really need to release anything right now. It's a bit of a weird flex, and it feels tough to recommend this to anyone building a brand new system right now, unless you have spare DDR5 laying around. It just doesn't make sense. Memory pricing is creeping up every single day, and availability is becoming a real headache thanks to this massive demand for AI for some reason. I don't get it. AMD Ryzen 7 9850 X3D is a beast, don't get me wrong. It's a really good CPU. It's another slam dunk from AMD. They're only competing with themselves, but all of this is from a certain point of view, right? As I've already said, it's not the best time to build a PC right now, but what the 9850 X3D has taught me is that it's time for me to upgrade my own gaming PC with a 9800 X3D.